Radical.
All right, so I'm going to just talk briefly about what's going on at Disney Marvel. Well, Disney owns Marvel, but specifically I'm going to focus on the Marvel movies. And somebody named Victoria Alonso, who before reading a lot of different articles today, I had no idea who she was. I had heard of Kathleen Kennedy, Kevin Feige, and the responsibility of basically ruining Star Wars, the Force is female, and pushing that, the wokeism in Star Wars. And it bled into Marvel also. I was wondering to myself, how did Marvel go from starting with Iron Man and then the Avengers movie, which made more profit than I think any movie before it, to 10 years later, and then She-Hulk is for some reason fucking twerking in a show? Why is She-Hulk twerking? Why is that part of Marvel anything? Like, what's going on here? Such a diluting of the big-time Marvel movies. It used to be an event whenever you go see Iron Man or Captain America or the Avengers, and now we have She-Hulk twerking. I think it's just too much Marvel stuff, overloaded, whether it be the movies, whether it be all the Marvel shows on the streaming network, Disney Plus, by the way, which is somehow losing money. I don't understand how Disney Plus can be losing money. I mean, well, I'll get into that in a moment. But just an oversaturation of Marvel stuff. The last Marvel movie I saw was Avengers Endgame. And there's a couple that I probably need to check out. Spider-Man Far From Home. I heard that was amazing, But I would say they're firing Alonso, who has been with Marvel for almost 20 years, I'm reading here, because mostly production and the fact that she's the head of production and they're losing money in production of these movies when it comes to the box office. The last movie, Ant-Man 3, which I didn't even know came out. I didn't see a lot of advertisements for it. I mean, it's Ant-Man, so it's not Avengers or Iron Man, so I don't really mess with fucking Ant-Man. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, nothing against Paul Rudd, but really, do we need 3 Ant-Man movies? Do we need 3 Ant-Man movies? Just seems like such a minor character to have like a major big budget movie on. That apparently is a bomb at the box office, and they're losing money. They will lose money on that movie. And they've been losing money, which I can't wrap my head around how Disney Marvel is losing money. If you look, and I did this the other day, it might have been something that was recommended to me. I looked at the top grossing franchise of all time. X-Men's on there. Fast and Furious is on there. Number 1, and it's not even close, is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The MCU made the most money, even more than Star Wars, and that's crazy to think. The MCU made the most money of anything. But now it's the flip. The script is flipped, and it's the opposite. Ant-Man will lose money. Eternals lost money. Shang-Chi, even though a lot of people say it was a really good movie, that lost money. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, people are kind of getting fatigued with the Marvel stuff. You can't have these side movies with no-name characters and that have the same kind of an impact. But also, there's also a big deal going on with the wokeism in the Marvel movies. Basically, it is the inclusion, you know what the deal is, right? The inclusion of female characters where there most normally was male characters, which sometimes can be done for certain reasons and it can work. But Victoria Alonso, from what I'm reading from what I'm reading come over her. sorry, I have a moment. From what I'm reading, she had an idea and she believed wrongly that people were not interested in the character under the suit or the armor. People don't care about Tony Stark or Peter Parker or, Steve Rogers, Captain America, or, Thor. They don't care about who's under the suit, but it's just the mantle. Like you could take a female Thor, for instance, and people would be fine with that. It'd be the same difference. But that's wrong. People that have read the comics for decades and decades have connections to these characters. And yes, most often these characters just happen to be male. And that's a problem. They happen to be white males, and that's a problem. Got to replace all the white males with, darker skinned females. Is that what we need to do? I don't know. That's part of inclusion. It's part of that. And like I said many, many times before, my belief is you can actually create new characters. Is that an idea? That's a good idea, isn't it? Create new original characters to put into these movies that might actually, maybe they might be cooler, more badass than the male characters. Who knows? Let people make a decision on that. But it's not just that. It's the fact that these movies that Marvel is putting out, and again, the last one I saw was Endgame, either are not getting people to go out to the theaters, people are not interested, they're not pumped up about a lot of these movies, or, like I said, there's a general idea that the wokeism is infecting all of the MCU. And people are not even, a lot of people are just avoiding the movies because of that. Victoria Alonso also believed wrongly, I think, that 28% of the audience for the MCU movies was Hispanic. I don't know where she gets her figures. I don't know. Is it on the ticket? When you go buy a ticket for a movie, I wonder. No one asks me if I'm white, Hispanic, male, female. Hell, I might be a ma'am. They don't know. Where the hell... And she's Hispanic and female and gay, I believe. Where the hell does she get her information? She says also 51% of the audience for the MCU movies is female. 51%. Interesting. Hey, do this as a test. Next time maybe you're at your job and you're talking about movie stuff. Okay? Let's say the situation where you and a lot of your employees are in the break room just, shooting shit about movies and whatnot. How about you take a little poll and you find out and you ask the males and the females who saw the last MCU movie or who has seen all the Iron Man movies or, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, or any of the Marvel movies, even the ones that mostly have female leads. I guarantee you it is not over 50% female. Now, how can I tell you this? As a person that runs a store at the flea market, and I sometimes sell MCU movies, I don't think I've sold one single MCU movie to a female. It's all been guys. When it comes to comic books, which these movies are based on, I very, very rarely sell comic books to females of any age demographic. It's usually all dudes. Mostly it's guys that are interested in Star Wars and Marvel and DC. Mostly it's guys. And sometimes they get their wives interested in this stuff too, but I'm telling you, it's mostly guys. It's just, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just happens to be the way things are. From the fact you are a kid and you're raised up, mostly females are into Barbie dolls and makeup and that kind of stuff. And then, guys are into stuff like comics and video games, mostly, and that remains today. And I know there's a lot of females out there that love Marvel movies and DC movies and video games and stuff like that. I know. But the idea that she had that over 50% of the consumers of these Marvel movies are, Disney Plus or whatever, watching the Marvel stuff was female, I guarantee you is markedly wrong. And yeah, Victoria Alonso was fired. I'm not sure what I'll title this. This is like a lot of news for Marvel, but she had been with the company for almost 20 years, and she used to be involved in post-production, special effects, and then she got a higher job. I'm not sure exactly what her job title was there, but I think this is in response. It says she exits, but no, I think shit canned. Sometimes these executives say they exited wherever, but no, they were let go. They were fired. That's just them saving face. I think it's the fact that on production also I read here that all the reshoots, all the special effects and whatnot, it was her. She was losing them a lot of money there, aside from the box office. And part of her vision of Marvel and the MCU was just not going to work. When it comes down to it, it's money. All right. Companies like Disney, they can take some losses, but if they see loss after loss after loss, then they say, hey, if we're not making money, or the mouse was like, hey, if we're not making money, what the fuck? Fire that bitch.